So good morning for those joining me for the standing poses this morning. We're going to warm up through the hips to start. You may need a wall or a chair here. Just bring one leg up and down a few times just to warm up through your hip socket. And then standing on that one leg, optional of holding the wall, take the knee out to the side and around. So you're drawing a circle with the knee. And then we're going to intensify it. So you're going to take it up, round, back, move it in the socket so that the actual, think about the thigh bone, the femur, rotating around in your cap, the socket, round a few times and back. So push back, turn, bring it round. Now this is something you can't do too fast. You do need to do it with awareness, which is what yoga is all about, awareness, bringing yourself in. Good, and then shake it out, change it to the other side. So if you're using the wall, you'll turn round. Now you know what you're doing, you don't need to see me, so just gently up and down, belly engaged, strong through your standing foot, and a feeling of lifting up through the spine. You always want to be elongating your back. Okay, then just gentle painting of the kneecap, just out in front of you a circle, and then a little bit more involved. Round, turn it in the socket, up, turn it in the socket. Thinking about that thigh bone, one more time in this direction, go back. So you're going to push back, around. So whether you're holding something or you're balancing, the more you can stand and balance as we age, the better it is, because it's one of the first things we lose function of. And release. Good. From there, take your legs a little wider and do my lovely figure 8. So this helps reset the whole sacroiliac area around the pelvis through there. So just gentle flow. And it's an area and a movement that we lose a lot of mobility through. So figure 8 across the body. And then I'm going to ask you to go back the other way. A little trickier, especially after 60 years of doing it in one direction. Always try and do something to just, like cleaning your teeth with your other hand. Doing things with a different way of going in will help connect those brain left and right sides. Turn them on a bit more. Good. And release. So we're going to do another balanced one called tree pose. So you can have a wall nearby. Stand in what is called mountain pose, Tadasana, grounding through the feet, lifting up through the spine. And this is a really good pose to do when you're standing somewhere waiting. You just have your feet either together or a little bit apart. You center your pelvis, so it's not tucking under and it's not dropping back. Just into neutral, what feels where you would be. Give it a little wiggle. Find that point of difference between the two. Stand your ground and stand in mountain pose. So really good for your posture. But we're going to take it up now onto one leg, into tree. So feel your weight shift onto one leg and bring this, make sure that your hips are still level, and just bring the knee out. I'm going to turn it out to the side. This is level 1. Toes are on the floor, heel is pressing into my shin. Level 2, a little bit off the ground, now you have to balance. And level 3, you may definitely need the wall or a chair. And this is not my stable leg, this is my torn labrum area, so I've got a lot of issues. Had this issue for 30 years, thanks to somebody sitting on me in a yoga class. But I manage it, I work with it. I don't overdo it, and I don't do nothing. So I want to make sure that this is really working and firing. Good, and then we'll go into the pose, into the tranquility of standing like a tree, staring at one spot. Keep the eyes soft so that the drishti, the eye gaze, is soft, and you have that sense of balance, serenity, peace. Recenter the knee, bring it down, coming down gently. Might want to wiggle a little. Feel the other side. So this might be your stronger side or it might be your weaker side. First level, heel, toes on the floor. Second level, or bring it up into third and to the maximum. Balance, touch the wall or a chair, bring the arms in, focusing the mind. And remember, it's called tree pose. It's not a drawing of a tree, so it can move, it can sway. It might be a small breeze blowing, or it might be a cyclone. Try and stand your ground, hold, gaze, breathe. Lovely. And gently release. So we're going to turn, if you're using a yoga mat, turn along your yoga mat. And first off, we're going to keep our toes pointed the long edge of the mat. If you have one or two yoga blocks, you can have them underneath you. You can have them at full height, mid height, low height, no height, whatever you're working with. Again, you're bending from your hips here, bending the knees if you wish. Now, I only recommend bending the knees if you've got really tight hamstrings or you're a total beginner. For those of you who've got a little bit more flexibility and strength, because now I'm going to ask you to use your strength of your front thigh here, your quad, to draw your kneecaps up. But I'm not asking you to draw your kneecaps up and push your knees back. So if you've got hyperextended knees and you're hyperactive bendies through there, don't be jamming the knees back. Just keep them soft. This is only for legs that are straight and go straight easily. You draw the kneecaps up so that you start to work your quads. Takes a bit of pressure off your hamstrings. And again, we're lengthening forward at whatever height we're at. You may even be going to a wall or a chair seat. Could look like that. Knees could be bent. So there's many variables, and remember to work with whatever your body is telling you today. And then find the essence of that pose, which is you put your awareness in. Now we want to find the essence of being still, going within, so that may mean closing your eyes or just staying with them open, but calm the whole body. So wherever you're at, imprinted into the mind and body, find that sense of awareness and relaxation in the pose. So we're now going to add a little twist. So if you're using a block, you're going to put one hand on it, the other hand on top. You could be on a chair seat here as well. Whatever you're doing with your legs, they stay the same, and then you're going to open one arm up. So we're doing a little twist here. So I want to try and press down as I'm pressing up and turning my face in the direction of the chest that's gone in that direction, and maybe looking up, but I wouldn't be pushing that if you've got neck issues. So just looking forward, and I mean forward in the direction you've turned. Inhale here, and on your exhalation, slowly down, replacing the other hand to the floor or the chair or the block. And inhale, open the top arm, follow with the chest, press through your feet, turning the face either to the ceiling halfway or stay looking down if you have major neck discomfort. Inhale, exhale down. Bend the knees, climb your hands up to your groins, and lengthening forward as you ascend to coming back up. Gently release. Might want to heel toe your feet in and come back to standing. And again, checking in, always checking in with how you're feeling. So now we're going to start some triangle movements, one of the first standing poses. And why standing poses are a really good place to start when you're starting out is that they build the foundation from the feet up. So it's like putting the foundations to a home. This is the cement base, and then we're going to build the walls, the extensions, and put the ceiling on. So we want to make sure our foundations are really strong. I want you to place your feet. You've gone from legs distance apart to turning the front foot towards the top edge of your mat and the back leg towards the long edge of your mat. So your hips are kind of pointed off in that direction. Pop your hands on the tops here. This is the as-is bones. So these are like headlights. If I move around, if they were beams of light, they would be tracking out. So we want to allow them to go where they need to go. And if they come to the front, well, good and fine. Mine do, but then I've done this for 30 odd years, so you know you expect some form of it. But otherwise, just leave them to go where they are. You don't want to be jamming yourself. You want to be staying relatively free. And again, if this front leg does not straighten, then you keep it bent. Back leg's a little easier to straighten in this fashion, but again, if you're very, very tight, you might have it bent. If you're able to straighten it, then you draw the kneecaps up. As I said before, pull up the quads, pull up your knees. It helps to take the pressure off your hamstrings, and it helps to strengthen your knees and give you really strong quads. So we're going to put our hand at the top of our thigh bone here and move it back and forward, back and center, back and center. And you'll notice as you push it back, your torso is bending forward. So I want you to take that bend and move yourself down. So if you're using a chair here, you could have your hand on the chair seat. That would be level 1. If you're a little more flexible, you might just go to the base or the upper shin or a block at whatever height. Remember, there's 3 heights to a yoga block. Or you might be going down to the floor. Again, you'll find where you go is where you go for you. So don't be trying to follow somebody else. And then you're turning the top chest and allowing the under chest to come through, and you're simply raising this arm. If you've got shoulder issues, you raise the elbow. Try to keep the shoulder down and away from your ears. Either stay with the head looking down at your big toe, forward in front of you, or to the ceiling or to your thumb. Triangle pose. A lot going on in all the joints. Enjoy. One more breath here. And to come up, you inhale into the top arm, pull the top arm to pull the chest up and come up. Turn yourself to the other direction. Back foot in, front foot around, pointing at the short edge, pointing at the long edge, hands on the hips, a couple of little wiggles. Allowing yourself to feel where you need to go. If you are using the chair, make sure you've brought it with you, and then out you go. So you want to bend through the hip from the hips. Pull up the kneecaps if you have the legs straight. Find where the position works for you. Remember, it may not be the same as where you were on the other side. And then extend yourself out into it. Breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Find where it works for you. If it feels a little too much, come up a fraction. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. This time as you breathe in, inhale, pull yourself up. Come back through the movement gently. Heel toe it in and shrug it out. Gently release. So we're going to do one more pose called Warrior 2. And why Warrior 2 and not Warrior 1 is because it's just a little easier for beginners to get into. So go wide. Turn your feet out again, long to the short edge and to the long edge, turning slightly in, and then start to bend this front knee. pushing from the back foot. Now, what's really important here is that the back foot is grounded. I teach a lot of times with this back heel and a little bit towards the little toe on a wall, and that will teach you to press back at the same time as coming forward. Now, there's a lot that can happen through the knee here. Sometimes people are a little unaware of where their knee is going, and if you can see, my knee is tracking that way, but my foot is over there. We want to try and turn the thigh out in the direction of your second and third little toes. So you may only get to here, and then you might have to think about rolling this thigh around, pulling up through the torso, pushing through the back wall, and then see if you can come up into warrior two. So because you might be using the wall, this hand will be on the wall, this hand is out over the knee, and you've turned the head, hopefully. You can turn that neck. So there's a lot, again, going through the joints here, a lot of work. And you can see why these are the foundations for a lot of other movements. Find that bliss, that feeling of awareness and relaxation. And I know that might sound silly, but when you do find it, you know you're doing yoga. Might only happen for a few seconds. Enjoy. And inhale, straighten the leg, bring the arm down, turn the feet, heel toe it. Now you've got the option of turning your feet in the other direction if you're not using the wall, or if you were using the wall, turn and go the other way. Back heel to the wall, toes pointing towards the long edge of the mat. And then this front heel lines up relatively somewhere between your arch and your heel. And we bend the knee a few times to give it some direction. And then you stay bent. Press down through the ground, reach up through the spine, take the arms out and turn. And because we want to be looking in the direction of tomorrow, we want to be reaching back in the direction of yesterday, but we want to be fully present in the moment. Good. One more breath here. And then press to straighten, turn the feet, heel, toe, and come back to standing. Give yourself a little wiggle. Shake it all out. Good. So we're just going to stretch out a few of our major muscles. First one, we want to have a chair or something at a height that we can put our foot on easily. Something that's not wobbly. And again, that hip drops, the front leg that you're standing on is your Tadasana mountain pose leg. Belly is in, and you're going to raise the arm. So it might be low, it might be high. You could also use the wall to push your leg on, or a banister, or the back of a chair, or the chair seat. Breathing in, reaching up, draw your shoulders back and down. Have that sense of your foundation pressing down, but the roof of your house tall. Inhale here. And gently bring the arms down. Just make sure the foot that you're standing on is pointing directly to where your foot would be if you were standing on 2 feet. Let's do the other side. So you bend, straighten, extend. Bend at the hips here and raise the arms. Starting to build good posture, stability and balance, strength and mobility. One more breath. And exhale down. Bend the knee, see if you can bring it off independently and place. Quad stretch. So you're going to take the leg behind. Now I know a lot of people can't reach their foot. You may never have reached your foot, but we're going to try and get hold of it today. So a tie or a belt or a hook, and you're going to Put it there and just hold. Again, good posture, hips aligned, standing leg working, and maybe you can bring this arm up and hold. For some of you who are a little more flexible, you will have hold of the foot, press the knee down as you reach up. Inhale, exhale. If you want to take this into dancer's pose, you push the foot away, you bend forward from your hip and you add a balance. But the weight of that back leg has got to roll slightly in so you keep your hips level. And the bottom knee can be bent more or straight. Gently come up and release. Going to the other side, if you're using a wall, stand where you can hold. Put the strap on if you are using the strap. Key point is to make sure your hips are level, hasn't gone out to the side. You want to stay standing as if you're doing your mountain pose, and then lift this arm up, tall, strong and supported. Press through the back foot if you're going into dances, and bend from your hip. Press the hand and the foot together. And that'll give you more quad strength and a lot more shake and wobble. Breathe deeply. Inhale to come up. Exhale gently. Remember, always come out the way you went in. Accidents happen when you come out improperly. Gently release. Shake it out. You could either take yourself to Shavasana now, or I'm going to make one more little video on Shavasana resting pose using some props. So you can grab yourself a bolster or cushions, book for under the head, maybe a towel or a blanket for covering the eyes, and we'll relax for a few moments in restorative corpse pose. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.